Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video on this channel. Today we are going to be reviewing the iPhone 7 Plus in 2024, late 2024. Keep that in mind. And you can see it in front of me right here. It's an amazing, beautiful phone. And hey, you can see me. What's up? Anyways, if we turn this thing on, it has Touch ID, as you can see, and that's pretty special. And a lot of people miss when iPhones had Touch ID. And if we get into this, I'm going to be showing you guys how fast the iPhone 7 Plus remains in 2024, just so you can see. Maybe you should pick one up if you can find one for cheap. And just saying, if you're on an extreme budget, I'd say it's a pretty good option. Now this phone, I did replace the battery in it. So if we go to battery health, you can see it's at 100%, which is amazing. It lasts for days. Well, I don't use it every single day, but I can leave it on and it does not die, which is a really good thing. Now, if you're buying it secondhand off of, let's say, eBay, you may have to replace the battery, but it is so easy to do and so cheap. You can pick up one for like 16 bucks and replace it. It's that simple. So I'd recommend doing that if you do go for an iPhone 7 Plus or iPhone 7 or anything like it. Just so you guys know, I am running this iPhone 7 Plus on iOS 15.8.2. Latest is 15.8.3. All they do is add, bug fixes and all that good stuff. iOS 15 came out in 2021. So it's a few years behind, but most apps still support iOS 15. And Apple still continues to support it, which is amazing because these phones are coming up on 10 years old here pretty soon. The iPhone 7 Plus came out in late 2016. iPhone 6s and 6s Plus came out in late 2015, and they are both very similar phones. So if we exit out of settings, let's do a quick speed test. So we're going to begin with the App Store in 3, 2, 1. So you can see, judging off of this instantly, it does take a little second to load. But that's nothing terrible, considering you can pick this phone up for like 50 bucks probably. Maybe like $50 to $100 considering on the condition and storage amount you buy. And you can see scrolling isn't too bad. It's not laggy or that laggy. So that is amazing. Next off, we got Music, which is a music app I use. So yeah, 3, 2, 1. And that's pretty fast, not gonna lie. So that's also amazing to know. Next up, we got the camera. We're just going to see how fast it can open it, just so you know whether or not you're going to miss your shots or if you'll be fine. And yeah, no, that loads up pretty fast, I'd say. You're not going to be missing any of your shots with this guy unless you're just super slow. It's not as fast as, let's say, the new iPhone 16 and 16 Pro, but that's still loads up pretty fast, faster than cheap Androids I've also used before. Next up, we got Instagram. Again, takes a few seconds, but nothing too major. I'd say for an 8-year-old phone, it's nothing bad. Snapchat, also not too bad. Not too bad. I will say this phone doesn't have much to load since I'm not really signed into anything, and when I am, it's nothing much. So yeah, we got TikTok next. also not signed in, but as you can see, it still takes like a second to load, but it's nothing bad. We got YouTube. So yeah, also nothing too bad. Video playback is also pretty good. The screen on this phone is 1080p, 60 Hz, IPS, so it's nothing too good. Not OLED, not 120 Hz, but for a 2016 phone, I'd say it holds up pretty well. Next up, we got Spotify. I mean, shoot, I personally wouldn't be complaining about those speeds. If I used this phone as my main, I would not really care, to be honest. At least for a little bit. I'm used to my 14 Pro now, so maybe. Next up, we got my bank app. I'm not gonna sign into it, of course, but usually this app can run pretty slow, so seeing it run fast here is pretty nice. Next up, we do got Discord. And not surprised, it loads up pretty fast, so that's not a surprise there. Next, we got Roblox, which I would play a game on here to show the performance, but I'm not signed in. And just so you guys know, Roblox is pretty simple to run. I've used this phone just to test Roblox out on a little bit. It runs pretty fun unless you're playing those intensive Roblox games, but let's be honest, it's Roblox. You're probably not playing those anyway. Next up, we got phone. Pretty much instantly. Not complaining anything. Messages. Gonna blur this out just, just cause. Next up, we got Safari. I was looking up wallpapers to find. And yeah, no, it took a second or two, but you know what? Nothing bad. I've seen much slower. Hint, I'm talking about Android phones for the cheap. Next up, we got a mail app, which I'm not signed in, so it's gonna load up instantly pretty much. Hey, before I continue with this video, I just want to say, if you guys want to see comparisons with this phone, I do have a Galaxy S8 from 2017. This phone came out late 2016, so they are both very, very similar to each other. So if you guys want to see a speed comparison between those two phones, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll do it. I'm probably gonna do it anyways, but just letting you guys know. Now, on the second page, I did download some apps that I did want to showcase on here, just to see the performance and everything. So, first off, we got Geometry Dash Lite. And I'm gonna suck at this playing it by looking at the my phone, but let's just see how good it runs. And yeah, no, I'm not complaining with this performance. It is Geometry Dash. At the end of the day, it's not a hard game to run. Next up, we do have Ball Blast, which is weirdly a game I used to play a lot back in 2019. Don't know why, but I did on my iPhone 6s I had at the time. So it's a pretty familiar game. At least the old versions were. This one looks weird. Anyways, yeah, it runs fine. I will say I did test this game out before on here. It does get hot and sometimes it does crash, but that's really it. Usually it's smooth. So yeah, and if you guys did hear that noise when it was freaking out, that was because the Taptic engine on this phone is kind of messed up by me, but overall it's nothing too major. It's not going to bring down the performance of the phone. Next up, we do have Slither.io, which is a classic game, so it should run just fine. As you can see, not a single problem. We're gonna We're gonna get this snake right here, man. Come here. Oh my gosh, we got him. Let's go. I was not expecting. Oh shoot. I was trying to turn, but I was too slow. Anyway. That was pretty good, I'd say. Pretty good. This phone amazes me for how old it is and how cheap it can be. So yeah, keep that in mind, guys. Next up, we got Google. Very basic, just the Google web page. Takes a second or two to, you know, load up and all, but overall, it's nothing too bad. The scrolling on here is not terrible either. Again, a 2016 phone, and it's still smooth. Like, I am so surprised and amazed about how good this phone is running. Like, it is amazing. Anyways, next up we do got photos. And pretty much instant. You know, it's photos at the end of the day. And then this is where the apps start to get basic. Just got a few basic Apple apps that come with every single phone, but who knows, I know a few people use them. So first of all, we got stocks, and yeah, it takes a second to load up the top stories, but overall it's very smooth. It looks nice. Not gonna complain about that whatsoever. Next up, we got news. Takes a second to load up. This is one that probably is taking the most time besides the games and more intensive games that I sadly cannot get on this phone because I did run out of storage. But as you can see, scrolling on here also isn't too bad. Just a ton of politics, but yeah, nothing too bad. Very smooth. Not complaining. Again, 8-year-old phone, under $100. It's not that bad. Next up, we got calendar. See, you can see all your important dates. Very, very smooth and very, very fast. Next up, we got files. And I only got 3. But yeah, still loads up pretty fast, no matter how much you have, really. Next up, we got the iTunes Store. Takes a second or two, but nothing too bad. Scrolling on here is also pretty nice, nothing too bad. So yeah, next up, going down to the last 2 apps, you got Apple TV. Also not bad. You can enjoy your TV shows while on your iPhone. A lot of these apps are basic and will run on pretty much anything that's like an iPhone 6 and newer, but it's still interesting to see how fast modern apps, whether or not it's from Apple or the App Store, and see how fast it can run on an 8-year-old phone with 3 gigs of RAM, an A10 Fusion chip, you know, on iOS 15, and I'm not complaining about this whatsoever. Facebook loaded up pretty fast as well. So yeah, no, that was pretty nice, guys. I'm not complaining with how fast this phone became, and let's see how good the multitasking is. So as you can see, the old apps we opened up before had to reload because since this phone only has 3 gigabytes of RAM, it can't really keep all those apps opened at once. It can still keep a few apps open at once, but not 10 or 20 like the new iPhones can with 8 gigs of RAM. So yeah, no, that's the only problem I'd say with this phone. It also does get super hot. It's not terrible, but it will get hot because, you know, as you update your phone to the final version it supports, it adds a lot of features from day one to the final day, and it will heat up the chip, and it will cause your phone to probably slow down. So be aware with that when buying something like this. I'd say if you're trying to find a phone, maybe for a grandparent, a parent maybe that's older, or just as a device to use while you save up to get a way better one, go for it. But if you're just gonna buy it to hope it lasts 5 years, probably avoid it, because it's probably not gonna last 5 years, as that's a long time, and this phone is already outdated, and it's been outdated since 2022, so add 5 years on top of that and it's gonna get worse and worse as time goes. But overall, this phone has surprised me, and it does amaze me with how good it holds up in 2024, 8 years after it came out. And we're gonna be comparing it between the S8 and see which phone wins the 8-year-old phone prize, I guess, on a contest. It's probably gonna be the 7 Plus, I'd say, because the optimization it has. But it's gonna be fun to find out which one comes out on top. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and you know, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, you guys all have an amazing night, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye bye.